Hello. So, I just spilled water all over the floor for the third time. Okay, that's probably not a good place to keep my water. Anyway, I am going to talk about the differences between cream and powder complexion makeup. So I have my eyes and my lips done, but not my face. And I'm going to do half of my face with cream products and the other half with powder and talk about the differences and how to choose which product. And a lot of this is really personal preference. So I'll show you some of my favorite products that are creams versus powders and how I would use them. And let's go ahead and dive in and get started. So I'm going to start on the cream side of my face. I'm going to use my Urban Decay Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator Foundation. This is one of my favorites, and it's nice and easy to use because you can just kind of squirt some out straight onto your face. All right, and I do prefer a liquid foundation generally. And so I am going to use a powder one on this side, but usually I use either a liquid foundation or a BB cream, even if I'm using powder products. So you definitely can mix and match. The key is that when you are mixing and matching cream and powder products, to just do the cream ones first. So whatever stuff you're using that's cream, that's the first stuff you want to put onto your face. All right. So there's that liquid foundation. They're just very easy to use. You could also use your fingers to blend out a liquid foundation, or you can use a beauty sponge or a puff. There's a lot of options. This is my favorite brush to apply liquid makeup. It's the BK Beauty 101. And I don't usually like makeup brushes. This is the exception to apply foundation. This one I love. All right, so you can see the side with foundation is looking a lot more evened out. So foundation really is just kind of starting from your blank slate. So I do always put on my foundation first, but then I add back in the color and dimension. All right, so let's go ahead and white out this side. So I'm going to use a powder product. This is the Baked Balance and Brighten in the shade Fair from Laura Geller. So this is just a powder foundation. And again, usually I would use a BB cream or something underneath. I just don't like to go in straight with a powder. But powder foundations, you're going to just kind of swirl and buff onto the skin. And you want to make sure you choose one that doesn't look overly powdery on the face. All right, but they are easy to use. And what you want to do is control the coverage. So with a liquid foundation, to get more coverage, you apply a second layer. With a powder foundation, if you want more coverage, what you're going to want to do is get a denser brush. So this brush, which actually is from Laura Geller, you can make it denser by moving that up, right? So I'm getting the bristles more tightly packed. And then what I can do is apply to the areas where I need a little bit of extra coverage with the more densely packed bristles, right? So in general, with any powder product, the more densely packed the bristles are, the more coverage you're going to get out of the product. And the more loosely packed or fluffy, so like this brush, is going to be a very light dusting and won't have a ton of coverage. All right, so now you can see the difference. The powder side is looking a little bit more matte. That's going to happen. And I will actually top this side of my face with powder at the end, so they'll match better at the end. All right. Moving on. I am going to go ahead and do some contour here. And contour is a step that you definitely can skip. There's no reason that you need to, well, you don't need to do any of this. You don't need to wear makeup. But contour is one that you can definitely skip. I am going to use the Fenty Matchsticks contour on the cream side of my face. I'm just going to draw it on right where I want it. Right, so contour, you kind of do around the perimeter of your face and sculpt out the cheekbones if you want. The idea with a contour is that you want it in very specific places to create a shadow on your face. And I'm going to blend out this contour with this brush. And you'll see it's kind of skinny this way, which is what you want for a contour, because you don't want contour to cover a huge area on your face. Contour is very purposefully placed, and we don't want it to cover huge, large areas. Precision game. All right, so that is the cream contour. And you could draw on contour with a cream product as well instead of one that's in a stick. But the sticks are really quick and easy. So that's why I'm a big fan. You know, on a weekday, you just want to toss on that contour and sculpt out that cheekbone. It's much more quick with a stick than it would be with something else. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and add contour to the powder side. For the powder side, I'm using my Charisma contour from Kaleidos. And I'm going to go in with this color because it's more gray. And contour shades should be gray because they look like shadow. All right, I'm using the exact same brush, and I'm going to apply it in the exact same places. So I'm sticking it right underneath of the cheekbone. Then I'll grab a little more, and I'll do right on the edge of the forehead. Grab a little more. I'm going to squish the brush and do a little bit on my nose, a little bit down here, and then a little bit around the perimeter of the face to define the face. All right, and we'll do a little more there. All right, so now I have contoured both sides. It really works the same way, except with the cream, you just draw it on with the stick. So that's actually my preferred method. I do think it's faster, but I really do enjoy this product as well. And if you really want your makeup to last all day, a good trick is to start with your cream product and then top it with your powder product. So you could use these two products together as well, and your makeup would really last all day. So that would be good for like an event, or you have something later that you want to look really good for, date or something, I don't know. All right, so now we're going to move on to bronzer. Bronzer is a warmer color than contour and goes over a greater area of the face. For the cream one, I have ones that I like that are not sticks, but again, we're going to stick with the easy stick. So this is from Milk. This is their matte bronzer. And for bronzer, you want to stick it anywhere the sun would hit. All right, so I like to get like the tops of the cheekbones there and then up on the forehead a little bit. All right, and I'm going to use the same brush I used for my foundation and blend this out. And bronzer really should go over a large area of the face because bronzer is imitating the sun, and the sun hits the rest of your face. Yeah, Mary, it's a really great one, isn't it? I really like the, there's a Fenty one I like too, and I'll just dip this brush directly into it and put that one straight on my face so it's not a stick. But that's the other one I like, is the Fenty, I think it's Butter Biscuit. This I use all the time. It's just so easy. All right. Yeah, it's a really pretty color. It's good. I have it around here somewhere. Where is it hiding? Oops. That's my keyboard. This is the other cream bronzer that I really like. It is Butter Biscuit from Fenty. And that's funny. It's right side is different on the back. Okay. But yeah, this one's really pretty too. And you can just go in and grab it and then apply it in the same spots where I put the stick. So both are great options. All right, on this side, I'm going to use a powder bronzer. And I am going to use one from Laura Geller. So this is their Baked Bronze and Brighten. It looks just like the foundation that I used. And I'm going to actually use the same brush. Because again, with bronzer, you're trying to cover a large area of your face. So the same brush you use for foundation is usually going to work really well for bronzer. So I'm going to get some bronzer on here and just apply in the same spots that I applied the other bronzer, which is where the sun would be hitting your face. This is a really pretty one, actually. You can see it's got a nice finish to it. Okay. So that's a bronzer. Next, we are going to do blush. All right. And I don't have blushes that I think are going to be the same color. So I'm going to attempt mixing two cream blushes. Your current fave powder, what bronzer is Juvia's? I haven't tried. I love Juvia's eyeshadows. I'll have to give that one a try. So Juvia's Place apparently makes a good powder bronzer. Thanks, Mary. I'm going to look that up. They have a few things I've been wanting to try. All right, so I'm going to grab, this is from Tower 28, and this is an orange color. Oh, it's a whole palette that they have, a bronzing palette. I am going to have to go look into that because Juvia's is very reasonably priced for those that are watching. So that's like a good one to like. All right, so I'm going to stick this along my cheekbone, and then I'm going to add this one from Rare Beauty that is less orangey to try and make it sort of match the other side. So with cream blushes, the easiest thing is just to use your fingers and kind of focus in on this area right here, and then just tap it out. And what you can do as well, if you want, is to grab that brush you used with your foundation and your bronzer and just softly blend that out around the edges. All right, so there's some blush there. There are blushes that come in more of a stick form. And one that I'm thinking of in particular is from Charlotte Tilbury that's really pretty. This isn't it. This is their contour, but it looks a lot like this. And it's their blush lighter. I know that's around here somewhere because I used it earlier today, but I don't exactly know where I put it. But these are really pretty. They're pricey, but very pretty. The blush lighter is very pretty. So if you want something that you just draw on, that's an option. Another option for a blush that you can just draw on, like the bronzer and the contour, is this one, which is very inexpensive. It's the Juicy Pink blusher, and I got mine at Yes Style. So let me know if you want a link to that. I can pile a little bit of that on too. So that one's a red one, right? So you can literally just kind of brush it on. And I know that looks scary, but as soon as you kind of tap it out, not scary anymore, right? So I like that you can just draw it on. I think that makes it really easy to use. All right. On the other side, I'm going to use a powder blush. And I'm going to use this brush for it. And I'm using my Persona Super Blush in the shade Georgia. Oh, do I have issues with lifting when I do blush? My bronzing sticks are good, but my blushes lift. I have not had too many issues with lifting. I I have several different cream blushes, and I haven't really had that issue with any. What I do is after I apply my blush and make sure it's all patted out, I do put a light dusting of powder everywhere. So I don't know if you're doing that, but that might help. I don't know. All right, so this is Super Blush in the shade Georgia, which is a peachish color. And I'm just going to try and put that in the same general area. So I'm just kind of following my cheekbone. On my face, this looks really intense, but on the video, it's less obvious. Stephanie says her favorite blush right now is the Milani Cheek Kiss Cream Blush in Nude Kiss. And, you know, I thought about buying that, and then I didn't because it looks really similar to this Rare Beauty one to me. So I didn't get it. Like, I think that Nude Kiss color looked to me like it would be similar to this. I try not to buy two things that'll do the same purpose, but the Milani one is probably a lot more affordable than the Rare Beauty one. So maybe that's a good option. Oh, you know, the flower looking ones are the ones from Winky Lux. Is this what you're talking about? The flower looking ones? Because these are the most beautiful thing ever. So these are great for a cream blush, and actually they work really nicely for these. Yeah, and they're not even too expensive. For these, you can either dip straight in with your brush, or you can grab it with your fingers and then just tap it on. So these are beautiful. I have it in the shade, this is Dodgy, which is the pinker one, and then I also have Crown. Melissa, I got them on sale at Ulta. Oh, oops, I'm not supposed to be putting it on that side. I got these on sale at Ulta, and they were not bad at all. So if you watch out for a sale, Winky Lux stuff goes on sale at Ulta. I think they're so cute. And then Milani has flower ones that are a powder. Okay. Okay. Cool, cool. Cool. All right. So at the moment, this side of my face feels kind of sticky, and this side does not. That's because this side is all powder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a setting powder and just dust over this side. And anytime I wear cream makeup, I'm always going to dust powder over the top because that's going to help it last. And I'm going to use my e.l.f. Halo Glow. Don't go making a huge shopping list because you can look beautiful with whatever you already have. I've been really trying to buy less and enjoy more. I know sometimes we just get that itch. We need some new stuff. All right. So I'm just going to do a light dusting. I'm using a big poofy brush. So this powder dusting will be a light dusting, not overly heavy. Right. So at this point, both sides are kind of set, and we can go over this side with the powder too. It won't hurt it. I am really running low on my e.l.f. Halo Glow. I need to pick up a new one. This is an exceptional product, especially at that price. All right. I feel much prettier now because I was wearing my eyes and lips with no face, and it felt really weird. My eyes and lips were done at my 7:30 makeup class for kids ages 8 to 12. The theme tonight was fall, so I did some fall colors. We have a lot of fun in that class. So fun to see how the kids get creative and what they think of. So again, I want to go back through and talk about the differences between cream versus powder, kind of summarize. So creams, thank you, Stephanie. I am obsessed with complexion makeup. I think having a radiant, glowy complexion is the most important part of the makeup experience. So for me, that's everything. I just want to look healthy and glowy. I got very obsessed with that when my acne was awful a few years back. I was just obsessed with hiding it and making my skin look pretty. And so I'm still kind of obsessed with complexion products. So I love both cream and powder products. With cream blushes, I do find that they tend to fade a little bit sooner than a powder blush would. So if I really want my makeup to last a long time, I will layer. I'll put blush cream first and then powder on top. But I do think it's so easy on a quick day to use the liquids that just kind of brush on, and I'll do like a whole crazy face and then like blend it all out at once. So I'll draw on my contour, my bronzer, my blush, my foundation. I'll just put it all over my face and then blend it all at once. Super, super speedy. So I do think liquid products can be faster. They don't always hold up quite as well. And again, that depends. If you pick the right products and you dust powder over the top, it might hold up pretty well. Yeah, Mary, it's so fun that you all came to join me. I think it's awesome. I really appreciate that everyone's here, and it makes it so much more fun to have some people to interact with. And then so powder can sometimes look a little bit less glowy, but if you pick the right ones, you see I still have a nice glow going, right? I still look radiant and glowy on this side. So I think with powder products, you need to be a little more careful about which ones you pick and not caking it on. You want to be careful using as little as you can to get the desired effect. Whereas with cream, I think you can go pretty ham and just put it all over and then blend it out, and it's great. Yeah, but a lot of it, again, is personal preference. So there's some days where I feel like playing with powder makeup and some days that I feel like maybe painting with a paintbrush all over my face. It depends on what I'm in the mood for and also how long I want my makeup to last. For most people, I don't think you need to own both. I think you could pick whichever one is easier for you to apply and just use that. Does anyone have any questions for me? I mentioned before that skipping contour is totally fine. You can also skip either your bronzer or your blush. I like to use one or the other because it gives some color and dimension to the face, but you don't need to use both. Oh, Mary, you're so sweet. I'm glad you're here. All right. Well, that's my thoughts on cream versus powder makeup. Let me know if you have more questions. I do plan eventually on doing a video more focused in on contour versus bronzer because I know that's a tricky one. What do you use more if your skin is dry? Good question. So when my skin is dry, which happens very frequently in the winter, I have very combination skin and I get some really dry areas. I use the same stuff that I use when my skin isn't dry, but I do think cream products tend to work really nicely on drier skin. And as we age, our skin tends to get a little drier. That has happened to me. So I do think cream products are a good choice for people with dry or aging skin. And if you're going to use powder products while your skin is dry, you just want to be really careful about how much you use so that you don't have issues with caking, because powder can kind of grab onto dry patches. Also, I would use a good moisturizer before starting my makeup if my skin were dry. And I will say that when your skin is really, really dry, like flaky, patchy dry, you can't always completely cover that it's going to look perfect. That's the hardest thing to cut. Like almost anything else I can kind of fix. But really, really patchy, dry skin is hard to hide. So you really need to work on skincare and putting that heavy moisturizer or an oil down before you start in on your makeup. And it still might look dry by the end of the day. Yeah, so dry skin, I don't like that I deal with that, but I do deal with some really dry skin throughout the winter. All right. Yeah, I use some K-Beauty moisturizers, and they're fabulous. My favorite that I really like is the Midnight Blue Calming Cream, and it's on Amazon too. But you can also get it at like Yes Style or some of those K-Beauty places. And it's a really good moisturizer for when my skin is feeling very, very dry. I don't think we should overcomplicate our skincare routines. Mine probably is overcomplicated because I'm into that kind of stuff, but a good moisturizer can be a lifesaver. I also really like, I have a propolis ampoule. I don't know how to say that, but it's like this honey stuff that like comes in a dropper, and I put on my face, and it helps a lot with dryness too. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end this, but thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful, and let me know if you have more questions, and don't forget that you are gorgeous. Bye.